Good morning, Vijay ji.
Very good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Subramanian.
Good morning.
Fine. Welcome everyone in North America Institute of Vihangam Yoga 6 weeks foundation workshop. We have gathered here because we are in a series of 6 sessions. This is going to be the session 2 out of these 6 sessions. So let's settle ourselves. I am going to pray to my master to come and bless this occasion. So I request everybody to just stay at one place very quietly with eyes closed, with your backbone straight. Just join me in offering the prayer. Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam yena characharam Tadpadam darshitam yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. भूले हुए जग जीव को निज घर दे पहुँचाए, सतपथ पर दर्शक रहे, सदगुरु देव कहाय। माया लोक छुड़ाय कर, चेतन लोक निवास, सदगुरु ताको जानिए, भक्ति मुक्ति जे ही पास। बोले सदगुरुदेव की जय। Okay, so welcome everybody. We are in the series of 6 sessions, which is going to build the very strong foundation for our spiritual growth, for our regularity in meditation, in our effort to keep our mind purified and in our control. These foundation sessions are meant to build the very fundamentals about spirituality, about mind, very clear in your head. So before I begin with the session 2, I just want to recap that the 6 lessons that we are going to learn in this series of 6 sessions. The first one we already went through, and we understood how important it is to define, or rather clearly define, our daily routine and fit our meditation practice exactly at the same time every day. So it is important to fix the time, and so is important to fix the place. We'll talk about the preparation for the place in the next session, but we need to fix a place, we need to fix a time, and the greatest importance was put forth on the sankalp, the commitment, the pledge, the determination, the firm resolve that I truly want to bring this beautiful practice in my daily routine. And we need to make a firm commitment on that. And when you make any determination, any resolve for doing anything in life, forget about just the meditation practice. Absolutely, for any action that you want to persist on daily basis, you want to be regular at certain things, maybe walking every day outside, or maybe doing 30 minutes exercise, or including this meditation practice, or be it any, let's say you want to work on certain study, and you want to focus every day, dedicate every day 30 minutes so that you can complete that study in time. For anything that you want to do regularly, the foundation for that is the firm resolve, because only when you are very committed to it, when you are keeping that always in your mind that I want to do this with the equal intensity on every day with equal intensity, you keep it in your mind, it is only then your action will follow. Otherwise, it's very easy to start a day with a certain intensity, but then after 2 days or 3 days of your effort, the fourth day, you will forget it. You will just fall into your old habit. So changing something in our life, bringing something good in our life require a firm resolve, a commitment. So just to recap further on that, I wanted to show you the tree so that even though you understand what it is, but it should print in your mind what I'm talking about. The root of any action is the sankalp. Just like the root of the tree is this root because of which the tree grows, and then eventually over the period of time the fruits and flowers will grow. So for fruits and flower to happen, the root has to be very firm and strong, and the plant should trust on the root that eventually it will make me grow into a tree. So what is the plant? The plant is the effort that we are making right now. Our effort is standing on the sankalp, our commitment, our pledge to do certain thing. Now, if this pledge, this determination, this firm resolve is so much important, we also need to know how to protect it, how we will not forget it. So our Guru says that you can protect your sankalp with the patience. Let's say you started doing meditation and you have this firm resolve that I will meditate every day. But after 2 days, you started getting little impatient that I'm still not able to control my mind. Should I continue meditating or not? Your determination, your commitment started shaking. Why? Because you are not able to protect your sankalp, your determination, with the help of the patience. You lack patience. So without patience, our determination cannot stand for long. So it must be protected by the patience. How do you nourish it? How do you keep your pledge always alive, with the equal intensity? It is only by repeatedly remembering it. So we make a habit that every time we sit for meditation, before that I repeat my pledge. I will continue meditating every day twice, morning and evening. And then you begin your meditation so that you remind yourself. So these repeated reminders about the sankalp is what is going to nourish it. It's going to keep it live with equal intensity. So these are the basic formula about achieving success in any field of your life. Let's say you want to start a new business, or you want to commit yourself into certain thing which requires your effort, constant effort. Same thing will follow. You need to stick to your firm resolve. You need to keep reminding yourself about the importance of it, and you need to set a fixed time for your effort. When do you want to put in effort for that? Every day. If you have I'll tell you an example. My grandfather, from maternal side, mere Nana ji. My Nana ji had committed that I will meditate 7 p.m. every evening. And morning, he used to get up early in the morning in Brahmur time. But evening hours, 7 p.m. every day, I will meditate. Now, what I'm going to tell you is going to just, shake you, and you will understand what truly means when we say we are committed to it. So he is having the dinner, served in front of him. He is having the bite of meal in his hand. He is about to put it in his mouth, and then the clock sounds for the 7 p.m. He will put the bite back on the plate. He will go to meditation room. He will meditate and come back, and only then he will complete his meal. That is called commitment. 7 p.m. means 7 p.m. If we follow that level of sincerity, it is only then the Guru will understand that this disciple is truly committed for bringing change in his life. Ultimately, it is Guru who has to bless you. But only when we sit in front of the Guru for every morning and evening and put our effort for controlling our mind, something will happen. Okay. So Fixed time, morning 3 to 5:30, Brahm Muhurt time is perfect. If you're not able to do that, any time, but fix a time which suits you in the morning and fix a time in the evening. If you need assistance in initial few days or maybe on regular basis, then we are putting our effort in running 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. morning and evening. We run our daily meditation sessions for free for those who are sincere about change, about spirituality. We are doing our seva to, we feel happy putting our effort and time and giving this platform to those who are sincere. So if you want to take benefit of this, the session is like you join the way you joined today, and there'll be instructor who will be guiding you for 15 minutes of breathing and 15 minutes of meditation practice. Anybody who is suffering with any kind of anxiety, depression, stress, lot of stress, work stress, or any kind of emotional, breakdown, all that is, something which is related to the restlessness of our mind. And this session, 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. every day, twice. Just remember, every day, twice for half an hour, where you have a quality breathing practice for 15 minutes. If you don't know, let me tell you, some of the doctors said that even though you practice breathing for 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, even that is going to give you a big change in the way your mind works. And imagine, we are providing you 15 minutes of breathing and 15 minutes of meditation every day, that too twice, morning and evening. So you can imagine the kind of opportunity you have right now with Vihangam Yoga. You can join every day. Uh, I hope you have got the daily meditation details. If you have not, we also run WhatsApp group, which says, the daily meditation WhatsApp group. If you are part of that group, then you get the reminder in that group every morning, every evening for joining this session. So those who are interested, they must log their interest in the website, and they will be contacted and added in the group. When I say website, you simply go to us.vihangamyoga.org, and here you have daily online meditation, right? You also get this pop-up for free daily meditation. You can go from here also, get details to join. When you click on this, this will open the same daily online meditation page. It's very well advertised that every 7 morning and evening, you can join online with your entire family. Free daily meditation every day, same time, same link, every day. And for you to get the details, you can fill your interest here, and then team will reach you, guide you to the session. Okay. Okay. It's great. Yeah, some of you said already registered, so that's nice. Okay. Today we are going to progress into the session 2, but prior to that, it is very important for you to also know a little bit about the mind. In the introductory session, we had gone through this slide, but I just wanted to make it very clear that the technique that you have learned to control the mind is not a technique which is, kind of developed by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, who is the founder of Vihangam Yoga. No. The technique that you have learned is the technique of Brahma Vidya. It is the very first stage of Brahma Vidya. If you read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Shri Krishna also teaches to Arjun about the same technique in 6th chapter, 13, 14 sloka. If you open that, our Bhagavad Gita also says that samam kai shirogrivam dharyan chalam istira sampreksha nasikagrasva dishasya navalokyan. So this talks about exactly the same technique what you have learned. So if some of you think that this technique is something which is challenging you, so let me look for any alternative. If you look for alternative, you're only diluting the possibility of the benefit that you're going to get from the complete practice of meditation. Anything else may certainly help you relax your mind or de-stress you, but that is not the end goal of meditation. The end goal of meditation is to completely attain the union with the Almighty. The complete goal of meditation is to liberate from the cycle of life and death. The complete goal of meditation is to attain the self realization, Atma Sakshatkar, and God realization, Paramatma Sakshatkar, Paramatma Darshan, to set yourself free from the cycle of life and death, from the bondage of karma. So, Brahma Vidya, which is a technique to liberate you, it is a technique to free you from the cycle of life and death, begins with this very technique that you have learned. This is the technique that you have learned will allow you to go inward. Once you stop your mind at that very special point, the focal point, that is the entry point for you to go inside. Without stopping your mind at that very focal point, if you think that closing my eyes or following anything else, you also feel equally relaxed, you will just stay there. That's it. You will feel relaxed, but that's it. That's the end of the story of that meditation. But in this Brahma Vidya technique, in this eternal technique, the Santvani also says that Ravi, Shashi, dono pavan chalatu hai, tehi bich dharu man dhyana, chalu jahan vasat purush nirvana. So when you put your concentration at that very focal point that you have learned in Vihangam Yoga stage 1, that is the entry door for you to go towards the Almighty. So there are many more things which is going to happen in you. Some kriya which will happen in you once your concentration, once your consciousness gathers at that very focal point. So there's so many things to happen, but of course, it requires your commitment. It requires your dedication, your regularity for something so auspicious, something so divine to happen. It is not going to be given to you just like that. Of course not. It is for those who are warriors. It is not for those who are kaya. It's not for those who are kamchor, the lazy. It's not for those. So if you really want to change yourself, let's first commit for the change and things will follow for sure. Our Guru says, Adbhut Marag Yoga Vihangam, मैं तुमको बतलाऊंगा यदि विधिवत तुम साधन करियो अमर लोक पहुंचाऊंगा. So this technique that you have joined is not a mere meditation exercise. It's lot more thing, lot more purification is going to happen in you automatically. Lot more blessings are going to follow in your life. You will know for sure in few days. If you truly commit yourself and sit in front of Guru, you will see how blessings follow in life. So there's so many things related to it. Coming back to mind. So mind, when you're awake, it follows your eyes. That is the beauty of it. When you're awake, your mind follows your eyes. So when you put your eyes at one point, it stays there. And that is how you control your mind. So in Vihangam Yoga stage 1 technique, when you're asked to put your both eyes together at one point, that is how you are controlling your mind at that point. So every time your mind wavers away from that point, what you need to do is you need to do two things. First, you need to remind yourself about the presence of the Guru. So you remember that you are sitting in front of a Guru. So a Guru's photo is in front of you, and you remember his. Whenever it wavers away in your heart, you remember your Guru, and then you put your focus back to the point by breathing out. This is a secret technique I'm saying. By breathing out, you breathe in and release your breath, and then start looking. So whenever you have to regain your focus at the focal point, you begin with releasing your breath out. So you release your breath and hold it, and then you slowly resume your normal breathing. This is how you'll be back to the focal point. And this practice slowly has to be increased. Let's say first few days, maybe you're somehow managing to sit for 10 minutes, but eventually you'll feel so it's so much improved and focused that you would not even feel like breaking your meditation in 10 minutes. In those cases, allow this to happen for a little longer. That's fine. It's only going to do better to you. One magical change which it will bring is that the moment you become regular, few days, let's say a week or 2 week, you're regular, you will find there is a change in the state of your mind. Right now, why you are not effective in certain activities, whereas you think that you have potential to be very effective, but you are not. The reason is just one thing: the attachments of the mind with the several other subjects. Your mind always is cravings. Mind has cravings for the subject, and when you're in that cravings, you are actually, your energy is getting lost into that. Just in cravings, you have vasana, you have cravings for things, this or that. So your energy is getting lost into it. And imagine if you are free from all cravings. There's no craving in the mind. You are in perfect balanced state where there is no spring of subject pulling your mind away from you. No, mind is with you all the time. And that happens only when the state of detachment is developed. And this is what is going to happen if you practice few days of this meditation technique. With few days of regular practice, the state of detachment is going to develop in you. And this detachment is going to make you very effective in performing any activity that you want. So if you really want to get into those benefits, you truly have to commit yourself. You have to bring purity in your thought. You have to bring purity in your action, in your intention. You need to be a person of love. You need to be a person of service. When you bring these good qualities in you, the mind will also, move from impurities to purity. Your stillness of the mind will also improve as you improve on the quotient of how pure you are from inside. So everything is related. Today I am going to focus on how to make your meditation even better by adding few more things. For example, improving your sleep quality. When your sleep quality is dull, it's not great. Every morning you wake up, you're not with your best. You're not at your best. But just remember, any day when you have a very sound sleep, when you get up, how you feel. You feel as if today you're oozing with energy, as if you can do wonders today in single day, because that's the kind of potential you carry. It is just that you're losing that potential. You're scattering your energy just because of mind being so scattered. So a quality sleep is definitely a great help. in the practice of meditation or otherwise also in day-to-day life. A quality sleep is very important. So we are going to share you some of the technique which is going to improve your sleep quality. The first technique is 8-16-32 breathing rule. Okay, so 8-16-32 rule. What is this? So what you do when you go to bed is, first of all, before even 8-16-32, you go to the bathtub or wherever you can pour the water on your feet. So before you go to bed, for a minute, meaning 60 seconds, you pour water on your feet. If it is, let's say, summertime, then little cold water. If it is winter time, then little warm water. You pour water on your feet. You put your tap on and your feet is under the tap. So water is just flowing on your feet. Both feet, for a minute. If you're doing one feet at a time, then 1 minute for right feet, then 1 minute for left feet. So both feet at least for a minute. You will feel just by pouring water on your feet, automatically a sense of peace will develop in you. And you have already put your gadget, your phone aside when you have gone to bathtub to wash your feet. About 20 minutes at least 20 minutes before that, you have already put your gadget aside. All you could have is maybe a book, some spiritual book, some good book to read, which is just going to bring the purity in your mind. Maybe some spiritual book, some religious book. For us, if you ask what book we read Svarved. Svarved. When you read Svarved, at the time you go to bed, your mind is going to be that much free from the subjects, because Svarved talks about the spirituality. Svarved talks about mind. Svarved talks about soul. Svarved talks about the Almighty. Svarved talks about the Vihangam Yoga technique. Svarved talks about meditation. Svarved talks about your behavior. Svarved talks about righteousness. What is right for you? Svarved gives you the directions in life, in certain situations of life. So Svarved is a guide, an encyclopedia of spirituality for us. So when we read this kind of book 20 minutes before you go to bed, for 20 minutes, you read this kind of book, your mind will be totally into a different dimension, in a dimension where nothing will trouble you. Nothing will trouble you. Maybe you may have a great trouble in your life, but when you read these kind of books, you will detach yourself from the trouble. That's the beauty of it. So you read these kind of books, and then on the bed you can follow these technique. The technique 8-16-32. You sleep flat on your back. You sleep flat and your eyes are closed. So right now, just visualize. I request all of you to sit straight, close your eyes, but in your mind, just follow the way I say. So you are sitting flat on the bed on your back. You're sleeping on your back, flat on the bed, and you're observing your breath. The breath goes in and out. You're observing your breath, and you count your breath for 8 times. So let's do it. We'll do just mock. We'll do only 4 times. Okay, just the mock practice. So observe your breath. Take the deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now in your mind, you flip to your right. Okay? You flip to your right only in your mind right now, not in reality. So you flip to the right. So your right hand is down on the bed and you're in that side of your body. So you flip to your right, and this time you keep concentrating on your breath for 16 times in reality when you do that. So 8, 16, 32, meaning for 16 times you observe your breath. We are going to do mock practice, but we'll do only 8 times right now. So at your own pace, just observe your breath for 8 times. I'm not going to guide you this time. At your own pace, just observe your breath. Just feel how the breath goes in and out. And keep the count until it reaches 8. Okay, and now you will flip to your left. Okay, so in your mind only right now, not in reality. But when you go to bed, you have to literally do it. So now you flip to your left. Left curvet is what is the right pose for sleeping in the beginning. Later, when you're in sound sleep, you don't know what happens to your body, so it doesn't matter. But when you're consciously lying down, you should lie down on your left curvet, left side. So you flip to your left, and now within your mind, there in reality, you will do for 32 times. 32 times you count your breath, you concentrate on your breath for 32 times. But now we are going to do mock practice of only 8 times. Okay, so we'll observe our breath for 8 times. We take the deep breath in and out. And now observe your breath. Each time you breathe in, increase your count. Okay. So once your count in reality reaches to 32, by then you'll be fully relaxed. And since you would have read some holy book for that 20 minutes of time, your mind is in very purest state. And of course, the only reason that we will get the sound sleep is because of the purity of the mind. Please believe me, everything else is immaterial. All we are trying to attain, even by the breathing practice, even by the meditation practice, is the purity of mind. If your mind is pure and free from any kind of cravings, it is only then you'll get the very sound sleep. So if you have not meditated in the evening, then instead of doing these breathing 8-16-32 rule, you can straight away sit for meditation also. That is also another way to end your day and then go to bed, sleep. So these are the technique. I'm going to share you Yoga Nidra in the next session. But these are the technique by which you will improve your sleep quality. I really want you guys to practice it for another week from now to see what changes it brings in your sleep quality. So to revise the step, at least 20 minutes before going to bed, you have already put your phone in silent mode or whatever way you want to keep it aside, and you can hold some spiritual book, some religious book, read that book. When you before go to bed, you wash your feet for a minute, then you go to bed. The light should be dim. Wherever you sleep, you definitely need to make sure that the light is dim in that surrounding. Dim light is essential. The temperature should not be hot, should not be more than 69 degree. I would say it should be less than 69 degree, 68, 69 degree. If you make that kind of temperature in your bedroom, it will work better. The the little colder side is better for your sleep. Whatever hormone is required for your sleep to induce, that hormone will be released when it is little colder side. You feel more relaxed. Okay, so you make those changes and either follow the breathing technique 8-16-32, or you meditate the technique that you have learned in Vihangam Yoga for minimum 10 minutes, and then you sleep with the pure intention. If you have pure thought, you'll get good quality sleep. If you are suffering with some kind of cravings, then of course your night will be disturbed. Your entire night will be disturbed. So purity of mind is important. That purity also comes from the purity of diet. So your diet has to be also pure, sattvic. We must strive to purify our meal. When you have meal, you also have meal with the pure mind. The kind of mind you carry, the kind of digestions you will get out of food. Okay. So diet has to be sattvic. If we are a person who cannot live without eating non-vegetarian meal, of course we have to slowly, if you have intention, if you have good intention within you, automatically something which is not right for you will start going away from you. So you won't need to put a lot of effort to purify your action, purify your thought, if your intention is right. If you're truly willing to change yourself, to bring yourself into a state of peace and happiness, then the purity is the way out. There is no other way out. So yes, the purity of meal is important. At the same time, the quantity of sleep and the quantity of meal is also equally important. Our Guru says, भोजन अल्प प्रमाण से नहीं अधिक नहीं घाट, सात्विक शुद्ध स्वभाव में आलस निद्रा पाठ. When you have your meal as well as the sleep in proper quantity. See, nidra bhojan niyam se nahi न्यूनाधिक होय. If your sleep as well as your diet is, with proper discipline, in the sense you eat only that much every day. You made a discipline of it. You eat on certain time every day. You fix a time for your lunch, fix a time for your dinner, fix a time for your breakfast. This is what is called discipline. So when your food is following a discipline, when your sleep is following a discipline, that every day you go to bed on certain time, every day automatically your body will start responding in certain way that a certain time you'll start waking up. Your body is always ready to follow a discipline. So if you sleep on certain time on every day, your body clock will set and it will wake you up on a certain time every day. That's the beauty of it. So nidra bhojan niyam se nahi न्यूनाधिक होय. Neither it should be less nor it should be more. So your food as well as your sleep has to be in appropriate quantity. What is that appropriate quantity? That only your body knows. You have to try to minimize it. Go to the minimum and then fix it at that. It should not be less than that because you need that much of meal and the sleep based on your body, but it should not be less than that. It should not be more than that too. It should be very apt and very less. Alpa praman. Our guru says bhojan alpa pramana se. Mean whatever less, whatever minimum you can go to that and stick to that. The less you eat and more you chew the meal, the less work you give to the digestive system and more time you give to the healing system. More time you allow your body to heal yourself, and when you allow that, more nutritions will also spread and your body will be more uh, capable to derive the nutrition out of whatever less you give. So your body will be that much more capable. You will feel more energetic because there'll be less of tamsikta in you. When you eat less, it is more of sattvic. When you eat more, it is more of tamasic. So even though you eat a sattvic meal, let's say you eat salad, you eat gajar, you eat mooli, you eat gehu chawal, if in less quantity, it is still close to sattvic. But even the salad, even the gajar, the carrot that you eat, if you eat in heavy quantity, then even the sattvic food will turn to tamasic for you. So quantity is very important. You must have complete control on the quantity. How many roti, how much rice, how much sabji, everything should be well defined. If you ask me the ratio, the nutritionist, those doctors, they suggest that your plate should be divided first in half and half, where the half of your plate is filled with salad, and then the other half salad, and you can say sabji, but then the other half is where you'll have, 1/4 of it is what you'll have. Let's say if you have rice, then 1/4 you have dal. If you have roti, then the other quarter is sabji. So something like that. So divide your plate in such a way and have all colors in your plate. You eat salad, the green, the red, you eat sabji, you eat roti, someday you eat rice, dal, sabji, salad, curd. Eat sattvic food. All that matters a lot for the practice of meditation. Okay, so we are going to conclude our practice with the meditation. So what we are going to do now is we are going to comfortably sit straight and with hands folded, eyes closed, we are going to chant Gayatri Mantra. We'll chant Gayatri Mantra for 5 times. I will do 1 round of Gayatri Mantra chanting. Then you all will join me for the next 5 rounds after that. You can just listen to me for the rhythm, then you join me with the same rhythm. It is important to follow the meaning of Gayatri Mantra when you chant, because that is how you're going to change the state of your mind. So when you say Om, means, O protector Lord, Bhur Bhuvah, you are the base of life. You are the one who dispel the darkness and sorrow from my life. You are the dispeller of sorrow and darkness. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha. Swaha means you are the bliss. You are the bliss incarnate, O Almighty. You are the bliss. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha. Tat Savitur. You are the creator. Varenyam. You are the worthy of acceptance. मैं आपको अपना लेता हूँ. मैं आपको वरण करता हूँ. You are everything for me. So Varenyam, you are the greatest being in my life. I accept you. Varenyam. Bhargo. Bhargo means you are most divine. You are the purest self. Devasya. You are the giver of everything. Dhimahi. I meditate upon you. Dhiyo yo naha prachodayat. Please guide my intellect, my consciousness to the righteous path. So when we say Dhiyo yo naha prachodayat, at that point we feel as if we are pleading to Almighty. So we feel surrendered and we plead Almighty that please guide my intellect, my consciousness to the righteous path. So if we develop this kind of surrender within your heart, this kind of surrendership within your heart, you will feel that you are that much at peace, that much at ease. So surrender, surrender, surrender when you do this mantra. Okay, we'll do that for 5 rounds. I'm going to do first and then you'll do together with me for next 5 rounds after that. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. All of us. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Now for the last round, please fill your heart with devotion. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Now we are going to remember Sadguru and follow this technique that every time your mind wanders away, you have to remember Sadguru first and you have to say in your mind, Jai Sadgurudev. Sadhguru is the one who is going to stop your mind. Please remember, so every time you're lost into anything, you have to say Jai Sadgurudev and take the deep breath in and release your breath and start looking at the focal point. We try to stay at the focal point as long as possible. And every time we feel that we are too much disturbed, my mind is wandering away, my eyes are not stopping at the focal point, then we say Jai Sadgurudev. We release our breath and start observing the focal point again. This is how you will come back to the meditation and then stay in meditation as long as possible. I'm going to tell you when to stop. So please free yourself from all kind of moha, shoka, chinta, bhram. Karo sarvatha tyag. Abhay Mahaprabhu ko bhajo. Desh ka sab lag. Wherever you are, in whatever time zone you are, whatever moha you have, whatever shok you have, whatever chinta you have, whatever bhram you have, whatever bhay you have, just free yourself from everything. You are sitting under the blessings of an able master, Sadguru. Sadguru is all capable to take care of you. Believe in him, trust him, and devote yourself in him when you sit for meditation. So free from everything, all worries, all fear, you are just concentrating on the focal point. Just keep observing. Your body should be completely still. If your body moves, your mind will move. So no motion in the body. In Vihangam Yoga technique, your eyes are not completely closed. So follow the technique as it was taught to you. You have to look at the focal point. If you are wearing glasses, please take it off. Every time you feel lost, say Jai Sadgurudev and release your breath out. No motion in the body. Another 2 minutes. Thirty seconds more. Rub your palms together. Close your eyes. And you apply your hand on your eyes and then slide it over your head and slowly open your eyes. Okay. So this was a very peaceful, very soothing meditation practice today. I can take some of your questions.
Guruji?
No, my name is Vijay. You can say Vijay. Guru is just he. Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj.
Okay.
Please call me Vijay. Yeah.
Okay, Vijay.
Vijay. Yeah. Yeah.
Vijay ji, question.
Focal point is something where you need to reach to. That's our goal for the level 1 meditation. Okay. Now, something that we are practicing, it simply means the reason we are practicing because we are not good at it, right? Otherwise, there's no need of practice. If you're already good at it, there is no need of practice. Since we are not good at it, we need to practice. Now, practice is something that we do every day and we do repeatedly, again and again, again and again. So even in this 10 minutes of sitting also, today we did only brief, but when you do at your home, you have to do 10 minutes. So even in this brief sitting of 10 minutes also, you don't have to do at a stretch for 10 minutes in the beginning. Few days, maybe you will close your eyes, relax yourself, and then try again. Open it again and try again. You do some time. When the strain starts developing because you're not used to it, then relax your eyes again, close it again, but then try again. But even though you close your eyes, you keep your chetana, feeling about the focal point only. Even with the closed eyes, you're as if you're observing your focal point only with the closed eyes, so that your concentration, your consciousness, your sensation for the focal point is always there, even though it is closed eyes or open eyes. You always are very sensitive about that focal point. What is going on there? You want to feel everything which is going on around that area. Okay, so when you breathe in, you want to feel how the breath goes in and out. And when you open your eyes again and start concentrating on the focal point, then you just focus. You don't do anything else. You just focus. You don't even observe your breath at that point. Just focus. Just keep looking like an observer. And when you have strain, it is something like this, that let's say when you go for jogging, the very first day you go for jogging, you won't feel anything. But the second day you will feel the pain. Even before you go for jogging, you'll feel your leg has slowly caught some kind of strain because you jogged the very first day. So that strain will start developing maybe in the evening onwards, and then tomorrow you'll feel, oh my God, today I cannot go. It's so much in strain right now. But you still go. You still go for jogging, and you still go even next day, and you'll find that the third or fourth day onward, the strain is gone, because your body muscles have developed that kind of agility, that kind of flexibility, that kind of strength, that now you can go for jog. So it is a good change. It is a good change that you have brought in by persisting on that effort. Similarly, when you persist on this technique of meditation, you are actually awakening the muscle area in your forehead in such a way that it is going to enhance your memory power. It is going to enhance your brain power. This is going to enhance the alpha wave in your brain. It is going to bring all those changes, provided you allow that kind of strain, to go through. You have to go through that to pass and reach to that stage where you are more capable, right? So for you to be more capable, you definitely have to pass through that phase. So don't worry, this is the passing phase. Everybody in the beginning feels some strain, somebody feels the teary eyes. All that is a good sign that something which was dormant is awakening. The muscle area here is awakening, the blood flow towards your brain is improving, all because of this extra strain that you're getting because of this the very first time you're doing. So it is all good for you. But if it troubles you, of course, during the trouble time, you cannot strain yourself. So you have to close your eyes, relax yourself, and then open it again. So do like that based on what state you are in. Always remember that your meditation has to be done in very comfortable state. So if you're feeling any headache or something, close your eyes, relax yourself a little bit. When you feel now you're back to normal, then start it again like that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So can we meditate sitting, laying on the bed after 8-16-32 rule? Yes, you can do that too. Meditation practice can be done anytime. It can be done anytime in the beginning, because first few days or few months you are getting better at it. So you need more practice. Even when you are sitting quietly somewhere, you just start looking at your focal point. This will only bring habit, or rather it will make you better at looking at the focal point. And when your focal point is crystal clear to you, it is only then the meditation will accelerate. Right now we are getting comfortable with it. We don't even see, maybe some of us, we are not even able to see the entire focal point completely. later we have to adjust it also to exactly the tip, you know. So yeah, I have been eating more since I started working from home, even though I am not hungry. How to control it? Of course, you can control it by discipline. There is absolutely no way. You have to discipline yourself. Only when you put discipline in you that I will eat only and at this time. This is my breakfast time. This is my lunch time. This is my dinner time. The other thing is, many times we think that we are hungry, or rather we feel the temptations of having food, but actually the body wanted water. Your body wanted water. So keep a bottle of water always with you, handy. And whenever you feel a little bit of hunger, and it is not the time for your meal, you know that your time for breakfast and time for meal is so and so. So in between, you have to drink water. Water is like amrit if you take it at proper time, but water is like bish. It is like wish if you take it at wrong time. So what is the good time and what is the wrong time for taking water? Between the meal time, in between, if you take water, it is amrit. But if you take the water just after the meal, then it is like wish. It is going to hamper your digestive system. So the fire that was burning ready to digest the meal, you put the water on it. So you're going to spoil the digestive process. So certainly you cannot drink water immediately after the meal. You should not. While you're having meal, if you feel choked or something, you can take water. That's all fine. But not like, 2 bottles of water while having meal. No, you cannot. You have to take water only about 45 minutes later. Once you're done with the meal, after about 45 minutes, you start drinking water. Whenever you feel thirsty, you develop habit of taking water between the meal. You should not take the water just after the meal. No. Next 45 minutes, no. Even just before the meal also, you should not take too much of water. Not too much of water. So little bit. So maybe half an hour before till then you can take as much water as your body demands, not more than what body demands. And then after 45 minutes of your meal, you can start taking water again. Okay. So proper timing of meal, proper timing of water is important for us. If we keep our eyes open when trying to focus on focal point, light and surrounding are distracting. Yeah, that's correct. So that's why the ambience is very important for us. So what we need to do is our ambience has to be dim lighted. The light should not be coming from the front side. So when we sit for meditation, we always sit near to, maybe the wall, or if your puja has some kind of stand, you sit flat stand, something very flat, something very flat like this wall. So you sit here, guru photo is in front of you, and you just meditate. You have no distraction from the front, and the light is not hitting your eyes. Light is coming from the back side. That kind of setup you have to make. Okay? We are going to talk about that in the next session, about the setup, about our surrounding. That's our session next week.
Vijayji?
Yeah.
Can we read any holy books before going to bed? You told, can we read?
Yes.
Like Vishnu Sahasranama?
Yes, of course. But when I say read, when you read, you should not continue just chanting mantra without understanding it. What we are trying to do is we are trying to give mind the thought of something very spiritual. So thought, is derived out of understanding also. The kind of understanding you will develop, that kind of thought will start running in you. So if you are contemplating on certain spiritual subjects, then your spiritual thought will come in your mind. But those are pure thoughts. Those thoughts are going to help you in getting sound sleep. So Vishnu Shastram, if you're reading, if you're in a habit of reading that every day, it is a good habit to have. You can do that every day, but you should understand every shloka, every mantra in that, and feel that mantra when you do it. Okay? And you can keep changing also. You should enrich yourself with the spiritual wisdom. Let's say you are done with the Vishnu Shastram, you have understood every mantra of it. Then you should switch to the other book after that. You know, use that time, 20 minutes reading time for your swadhyay. Swadhyay is part of yoga. You know, it comes under niyam. You know, niyam is something where you every day you pray, it is your niyam. Every day you read books, it's your swadhyay. Swadhyay is not only about reading book, swadhyay is also about reading yourself. Every day you read yourself, what you have become, what is something you have done wrong, what is something you have done right. You should read yourself also every day. So use that time, you know, 20 minutes time for swadhyay, where you read one book. If you're done with that book, then switch to another book. Don't just stick to same thing. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much. We will join again next week. There's so much to be done. We have 6 sessions. So see you again for Controlling Mind lesson 3, and that will have a complete setup detail. And we'll also talk about mentoring and monitoring. Yeah. Thank you so much. Jai Sadgurudev.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you very much.